over this way.
Having a good day so far?
I couldn't remember which side, left, right.
Arranging by height.
Yeah.
Jane, look at these bins. We're gonna,
They're very
by this
tasteful.
time next year, the garbage trash one will be smaller
Yes.
and the mixed paper will be much higher
Yeah.
and the cans and bottles higher, hopefully, huh?
This is great. I took
Switch this
pictures.
around.
I took pictures. I was in Boston for our daughter's graduation, so I took pictures of trash cans. So how they all looked. So
I look forward to
if
that.
we want to see pictures of their trash cans in multifamily housing, that's why I did it, because it's in multifamily housing, and that was some of the concerns that people had.
All right. All right, you all ready to get started here? Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about recycling. I'm delighted to be here today with several members of the community who each in their own way has been into recycling, and I will introduce them to you shortly. But let me say a couple of things. First of all, we're all interested, of course, in increasing our recycling rate. Over 40% of what's thrown away in Lincoln can be recycled, over 40%. And our current recycling rate is significantly less than that. We all know that the benefit to the environment when we recycle, everybody wants to have a cleaner, greener city. People everywhere in this country are working together to leave a less destructive carbon footprint on this country and on the world. But that's not all we accomplish when we encourage recycling. Recycling delays the need to expand public landfills, reducing pressure on our tax dollars. And recycling has other economic benefits. As you will hear, some companies in this community have made recycling a part of their business model. They demonstrate every day that recycling can work for Lincoln in a variety of ways. So I'm asking you to help us double Lincoln's recycling rate by 2020. We are calling the effort Recycle Lincoln. Recycle Lincoln will strive to make Lincoln a more recycling-friendly city through education programs, responsible city ordinances, and the expanded availability of recycling services. So I'm honored today to have several people with us, including Mark LeBaron of Lincoln Industries. Welcome, Mark. Jane Raybold of B&R Stores. I think she's on the city council too, right? Paul Jarrett with Bulu Box, Paul. And Chelsea Johnson with the League of Conservation Voters have all agreed to help us lead the effort. Although the effort has just begun, we are already joined by over 30 Lincoln businesses and organizations who want our community to achieve the goal of doubling our recycling rate. We are fortunate to have such community-spirited people who are willing to step up and help take a leadership position. So I am truly grateful to you all. So with that, I would like you to hear from these leaders, and we'll start with Chelsea Johnson of the League of Conservation Voters. Chelsea, welcome to the podium.
Well, I would first, of course, like to thank Mayor Beitler and his staff for including the League of Conservation Voters in this effort. We've been really involved in helping improve sustainability across the state, and of course, Lincoln is kind of a powerhouse for that, and there's a ton of Lincolnites who want to see improved sustainability in all aspects of their lives. Lincoln is really a wonderful place to live. We're a powerhouse example of great education and business and entrepreneurial growth. We've been ranked 4th on Forbes' list of best places for businesses and careers and among Livability's top places to live in 2015. And since 2009, with the launch of Cleaner, Greener Lincoln, we have also made great leaps and bounds in becoming a sustainable city. We enjoy extensive bike trails, and we get 48% of our electricity from renewable resources like wind and solar, which is among the best in the nation. It's amazing. But Lincoln doesn't live up to its standard of excellence in recycling. As a whole, Nebraska does lag behind other states in our recycling rate. And like Mayor Beitler said, in Lincoln, 42% of the waste that goes into the landfill is readily recyclable materials. We can do better, and Lincolnites expect us to do better. They want to have recycling be convenient for them, and they want to see the policies that will make that happen. So let's double Lincoln's recycling rate.
All right, I'd next like to ask Mark to come forward. Mark, as I indicated earlier, is with Lincoln Industries, one of the great corporations of this city, and Mark incidentally treats his people very well out there, and we're proud of his leadership in a whole number of ways. Mark?
Well, thank you, Mayor Beitler, for the opportunity to make a few comments and play a role in this. You know, I'm here to talk a little bit about why businesses should get involved in recycling. And you know, there's some very practical reasons. Most studies show that almost half of the waste that goes into a landfill comes from business and commercial activities. So if you really want to make an impact, you have to get the business community involved. Obviously, I mean, it just makes sense. Recycling is good for the environment. If we can help our landfills last longer, we can avoid creating new landfills. That's good for the city. It's good for the community. I think there's other reasons businesses should get involved. We see in our organization, people take a great sense of pride when they are able to participate in a recycling or a conservation program at work. It's a tangible way that people maybe in other ways couldn't participate, but they can do it at work. And you know, it's just from our standpoint, it's just the right thing to do. At Lincoln Industries, we've had a recycling program for many, many years. In 2015, we recycled just under 2.4 million pounds of product. We do the traditional newspaper, the print, the cardboard, plastic, even wood, but we also are very aggressive. We recycled 100% of all of the byproduct materials that come out of our environmental systems. We recycled 100% of all the metallic things that we have used in our process and disposed of. So we were one of the first companies in the U.S. to implement a complete recycling program for environmental system byproducts. So I think businesses can be the real leaders in recycling because of our ability to touch so many people in the community. If you look at the employed workforce and you look at people that work for all the businesses, we can do a lot to help promote the recycling initiative. So thank you.
Mark, thank you. And James again is with B&R Stores, please.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm always happy to sit up here or stand up here and talk trash. And it's so important for our community and important for our community going forward. You know, some people feel we need to be better stewards of our environment, whether it's a moral imperative, and in our case, it just makes good business sense. And at B&R Stores, the Super Saver Russes, we have been recycling because it's something our customers expect us to do, and it's something our associates are proud that we do. So when it comes to cardboard, we have been recycling cardboard for over 40 years. And, you know, sometimes it makes sense. It's traded as a commodity. Sometimes we make money. Sometimes we break even. Sometimes we have to pay some money. And I just got an amazing phone call this morning talking about another use for cardboard is that some turkey farmers like to use the shredded up cardboard as their bedding. And then they in turn take that lovely decorated cardboard from the turkeys and the farmers use that as a wonderful source of nitrate for fertilizing the farm. So that's another application for cardboard that certainly I hadn't thought of, but it's what our industry is going towards, looking at alternatives used for all of our materials. Certainly in the grocery stores, we have used our cook oil, our frying oil, and reused it over many, many years, and that's a commodity that we make money on, and that that gets converted into biodiesel fuel. Right now, we're trying to really divert a lot of our organic material away from the landfill. We've partnered with Prairie Land Dairy, our local dairy right outside in Firth, Nebraska. They come and pick up our organic materials. We recycle about 37 tons of organic material every month that gets diverted from the landfill. They pick it up, they take it out to the farm, they mix it with the lovely dairy manure, and they come up with compost that we sell in our stores. You know, it's not just our industry, it's all business industries are looking for ways to do their business smarter, to conserve their resources, and actually to even make some money. And the bottom line is our customers want it, and it's great for our community. And we're proud to be part of those initiatives that make Lincoln a better place and a place that does more recycling.
Jane, thank you.
You bet.
What you were getting into, you can just go on and on about the ability of American business and Americans to grab on to innovation and start changing the entire supply line from beginning to end to focus on a problem like that. And that's what's happening, and we want to be a part of that. And Paul Jarrett, Bulu Box, again, is another small businessman here in this town. He was nervous about being here today, but not for the usual reason of facing an audience, but he and his wife, any day now, maybe today, are about to have another young Jarrett,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
Recycling today, then.
Yes, recycling today. I feel like I should apologize to Lincoln for adding another Jarrett to the city. So, sorry about that. Thanks, Mayor. Mark, Chelsea, thank you. Jane, I want to hang out with you. You have fun up here. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, everybody, for giving us some time to speak today on this issue. It's really important to us. I am proud to say that at both my home place and our office and also our warehouse for Bulu Box, we do recycle. We've made it a point. And actually, I believe with our garbage hauler, we are the largest cardboard recycler, so that's great. And I think everybody touched on some really great points and statistics. So instead of kind of competing with that, I'm just going to share a little story with everybody. We had and this is really kind of what lit my fire as, kind of an entrepreneur and somebody that, nobody has time, right? Nobody ever has time, and I didn't have time to get involved in this, and we have much more important things to do. Well, one, a kid kind of changes your thought process about everything is one thing I've learned. But also we had an investor come in from another city. And we had worked really hard to get this investor interested in Bulu Box. And I was excited at the potential of them investing in our company. It was a great fit. The kind of stars, the moon, everything were aligning. And we had a great meeting, and we talked about how innovative Lincoln was. The investor, we've also had some great, no offense, local news, but we had some great stuff on CBS that was national, so that was fantastic. And we had everything kind of falling in place, and this investor was really interested, and we're kind of talking about how innovative and cutting edge Lincoln is. And at the end of the meeting, we're all shaking hands, and I'm doing one of this, yeah, we nailed it. We nailed that one. And the investor had a plastic bottle just like this one. Actually, it might have been out of the same case because we had given it to him. And he said, hey, where do I recycle? I was like, and we were in a shared office space. And I said, well, let me check over here. And I kind of made a sweep around the entire floor of the building, and there was nowhere to recycle. And here we are just giving this amazing pitch and talk about how innovative and cutting edge the city is. And we couldn't even find recycling for this person. And I said, why don't you just hand that to me? And he said, no, you know what? I'm just gonna, and he kind of crumpled it up and he put it in his back pocket. He's like, I'm just gonna take this home with me and recycle. I was embarrassed, and that was what really lit a fire under me to get involved with this. And frankly, the startup community in Lincoln is absolutely amazing, and it's growing and it's flourishing. Everybody is working their asses off to get the right talent in, the right people in, and this is.
By the way.
That's all. And so, you know, to have something like that kind of cut out our legs from under us, it's just a box that we should have had checked a long time ago, is why I'm involved, and I'm lucky to be part of this, and I'm thankful for everybody. And you're going to have to bleep me a lot if I'm part of this. So it was just the A word. So I'm happy to be the first person to go ahead and do this and kick it off. Thank you.
Paul, I like authentic better than anything. That was great. One more little piece we wanted to do here. Willa in our office, you know, we get a chance to stand up here and say where we stand on the recycling business, but the average citizen doesn't necessarily have that chance, except Willa's going to tell us about a way that they can get involved.
Thanks, Mayor. So, we do have an online petition that's available for the community to sign and get behind the idea of doubling Lincoln's recycling rate. If you go to www.google.com and you type in the keywords double Lincoln's recycling rate, the number one hit should be our petition, and it's on change.org. We want you to go there, we want you to sign it, and we want you to be engaged, because it's important that we have our community's voices heard as we move forward on doubling Lincoln's recycling rate. And thank you all for coming out today and telling your story. Let's go Lincoln.
All right. Thank you, Willa. All right, we'd like to open it up to questions. Donna Gardner, why don't you come up here? Donna is with our Public Works Department and has been in charge, thankfully. Thank you for all your hard work on this recycling effort. And as among us all, we will attempt to take your questions here.
Mayor, when are you going to propose the ordinance that will have the bans on different products for the landfill?
Yeah, we, as you know, we've been talking week after week after week now with different groups of citizens representing different parts of our community. And what we've been saying to them are, all right, let's get into the details here. What do you see as things we should be looking at, we should be addressing, perhaps some of them in an ordinance? And we've been taking input, a tremendous amount of input over time here. So right now, we're in the process of, we've already added several things to the ordinance. We're in the process of finalizing that input, and we will move forward hopefully early in June, but sometime early summer, and start the formal process of moving this into place.
And then I've had people ask me why you're going to have all the paper products banned, why not cans?
Donna, did you want to?
I can take a stab
I
at
have my
that.
answer to that too, but you may have a broader perspective.
It's actually a larger percentage of the recyclables that go to the landfill, so we chose that as our lead case. We also had a group of working group that looked at the various recyclables that were available and decided to choose cardboard as our leading case, as something that's easily recognizable and could make a big impact.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how much effort we've put into coordinating things and taking the pathway that seems to have the broadest support in the communities. We want the haulers to be on our side. We want everybody to be on our side because we're all in this together. And this, this is a matter of doing our part in this country and doing our part in this world to address this huge concern, which is, I think, by all accounts, real now. And Lincoln needs to pitch in and do its part, as we've always taken leadership positions in so many different areas now, as Paul was indicating. This is one more area where we need to be a leader. To me, it's like a patriotic thing.
One thing you mentioned early on in your opening statement was the education aspect of it. Is there any plan in place how to educate? Because I'm 25 years old and I still get stuck. I walk up and I don't know where to put anything when there's 3 bins in front of me like that. I know where to put my plastic bottle, but aside from that, I don't know what falls into what bin,
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you an app. Do you know what those are?
And I don't feel like that's just me, I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. Education is key to all of this, especially insofar as residents are concerned. Businesses may take the matter up as a business decision of one sort, and they sort through the details for sure. But we do need to educate the public. We agreed with the haulers that we would help them educate the public. We have already set aside up to $500,000 to do that. We're still in the process of deciding how to spend that education money and how much of it to spend. But it's available for whatever is necessary to be sure everybody understands what we're doing. Along with that education process, we're going to have a very light hand on enforcement. We're not out there for gotchas. We're not out there to be truculent or mean with people or otherwise, to be anything otherwise than helping lead them to the right conclusion. In fact, I don't even think we're leading them to the right conclusion. They all want to recycle for the most part. And what we're trying to do is to gently and consistently and over time help them to find the ways to recycle that make the most sense for them.
I have a follow-up on his question because I have been in places, this is fairly easy to decipher, but I have been in places where I don't have a clue what it means to put in each of the things. It says goes to the landfill. Well, in my house until a year ago, everything went to the landfill, so should I just put everything? If I want anybody who's on the national scene, are there symbols and things we will come to learn to understand which thing to put different items in?
I know what we did at our workplace. I guess I'll just like step up and so we have bins in our workplace in our home, and I actually used to live in New York City and San Francisco, and as soon as we put them in our workplace, actually what you mentioned about people not knowing what goes where, in all those places they just have little sheets you can print off of like literally like examples of pictures, like banana peel goes here, coffee grinds go here, and so that's what we did in our office, and we got that information just by simply Googling or searching Recycle Lincoln or whatever it was. And so we got that information and we literally just taped up on the wall like a few pieces of paper so that we will recycle if they get grubby. So that's what we did.
And, you know, Nancy, I think it depends on all the stakeholders that we are soliciting their input and feedback on. What is the appropriate way that we can communicate with your people that you work with? So in multifamily housing, in some places where you have the trash, it might be a single stream, but they have exactly a little placard that says all the items that are considered recyclable for the single stream. So, and every municipality is different, but we have to work with our haulers, and they're a big part of educating the residents on what goes into that single stream container for all the items that we're trying to recycle. So it really depends on each of those stakeholders partnering with the city in trying to educate everybody. But it is going to be a little bit different. And I think if you go into restaurants or if you go, certainly in our grocery stores, we have receptacles like this, but sometimes it is confusing. We try to use a symbol, or we'll do something laminated to give more explanation for those who are a little bit confused. And I think it just takes a concerted effort. Maybe there's going to be some uniformity of symbols, but we don't have it right now. I forgot I was going to do a joke before. I was going to say, you know, what does WALL-E, do you remember WALL-E, the movie WALL-E, and Pope Francis and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce have in common? They are really big on recycling, and they're all taking up initiatives. And there's a great U.S. Chamber of Commerce has their initiatives on recycling that they're sending out to all the municipalities around the United States. So everybody's big on recycling, and Lincoln has been a leader in many ways on recycling, and cardboard is just the next step. So we're going to be great at that too. Does that sound like Trump?
Is the city going to have to be, Mayor, is the city going to have to be, I'm sorry, Joanna.
Your point's well taken, and that's part of the education process. And I would also advise you to check with your children and grandchildren. They're way up on this more than me. And we're counting on them to be the main enforcers here. I'm sorry, Jane.
I apologize too. In the long run, is the city they're going to have to be able to, target some more expenditures to make this all effective in the long run? Or is the city going to be willing to spend more to, I don't know, landfills, whatever, to make it all work out?
Well, recycling, I think we all understand, is good for the long-term future of our city, of our country, and of our world. And at the front end, we're going to do what's necessary to educate people and to involve people and to get that job done in our part of the world. And over time, I don't think that's going to be more expensive, but we will go forward with it, and with the belief and with the very firm belief that in the long term, this is not only going to be good for the community and for our children, but it's going to be less expensive.
Does the city have any plans to make recycling more accessible? I see these bins here. Are there plans to place them elsewhere in the city, or what is the city?
Yeah, you know, that's a good question. And as part of the education effort, not only can that money be used purely for programmatic education, but it can be used for infrastructure pieces such as garbage cans around the city, recycling around the city. I think that all needs to be coordinated, and we'll be working on that over the rest of this year, so that our signals are not mixed to the community, but we have a straightforward set of instructions for people that will guide them in the right direction and help them make each and every recycling decision in the way that it can best be made. All right, are we good to go? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anna, thank you. Paul, thank you.